Magandang hapon po sa lahat. So, our 2025 Magsaysay awardee, Shina, actually has emphasized that plastics pollution has become one of the most concerning environmental issues that we have right now globally, as it amplifies the triple planetary crisis of climate change, declining ocean health, and biodiversity loss. She's bringing in this important perspective of how a small country like Maldives, an insignificant contributor to climate change and plastics production, becomes one of the most vulnerable in the context of the changing world. If we think about it, there's a lot that the Philippines can actually learn from the experiences of Maldives. Both countries are composed of groups of islands, and we are both legally classified as archipelago or archipelagic states under UNCLOS. For them, it's 1% island. For us, it's 12%. But to more truthfully state it, they're actually 99% water, and we are 88% water. We both basically live in a water world. As Maldivians became slowly disconnected to the sea, as you mentioned earlier, we Filipinos have also forgotten the identity of being a maritime country, of being a taong dagat, that we are connected by waters and not separated by it. This is very much reflected in the land-centric policies that we have, in the overall framework of development that we have, and even on how we approach and manage our problems. Shahina has raised an important concern. Despite the policies in place, in reality, many of the communities remain disconnected from both the process and outcomes. She emphasized that they are informed but not engaged. They are observers but not participants. And I would even go further, that they are actually included but not empowered. In the case of plastics pollution, for example, in the Philippines, our main local policy is the RA 9008, which directs the way that waste should be collected, transported, and then managed. This becomes a problem for island communities since transporting waste and materials between islands or to a common disposal facility can be complex and costly. Do we have the right infrastructure to actually do this? Do they have enough resources to implement it? So the question is the policy contextualized to address the archipelagic nature of the country? I was just in Cebu a few weeks ago, doing interviews, doing a research to actually understand how barangays in the Philippines manage their own wastes. I was surprised to learn that in one of the island communities in Cebu, they do not have a materials recovery facility or MRF, which is actually mandated by law. That part of Cebu is a prime destination. It's a prime tourist destination where the cost of land could be as much as 100,000 pesos per square meter. So I ask, why you don't have an MRF? Sasayangin ba namin yung ganong kamahal at kalaking lugar para lang sa basura? O lalagyan ng basura? Patayuan na lang namin ang bagong eskwelahan o kaya barangay hall. As one of the officials actually said. It has been said that plastics pollution is an important issue for Filipinos. But really, is it really an important issue for Filipinos? Or is it important mainly for politicians? We have been consistently ranked among the world's top contributors to plastics pollutions in the ocean based on various estimates. Depending on what data you're looking at, we are ranked as number 1, number 3, number 5, number 7, but always at the top 10. It's something that we are always part of, but probably not always proud of. Because of this ranking, I have been consistently approached by many politicians. Doc Deo, let's debunk this ranking. Let's prove that we are not part of the top 10. You see, such ranking and portrayals have significant implications on the image of the country. That's why politicians are very, very much concerned. However, in reality, we do not have a very comprehensive data set to either reject or validate this classification. Let me emphasize that the absence of the data does not negate the fact that we are contributors to ocean plastics pollution. But more than the ranking, without data, there is no science-informed decision-making. As a scientist, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of data, of ground truth information. Without a comprehensive monitoring and field-based assessments, science-informed interventions also remain fragmented and even limit management frameworks. Data also shapes countries' role in international treaty negotiations and global accountability frameworks. Without data, we risk oversimplifying or misrepresenting local realities on the ground. So again, let me ask you the question. Is it really an important issue for common Filipinos? In one of the conversations I had with Cebuanos, also in Cebu, with one of the fisher folks, I asked them how are they affected by plastics pollution and if they actually think that this is a problem that needs to be urgently addressed. He said, hindi naman siya problema, dadalahin lang naman yan palayo ng Agos. Maybe that is actually the tragedy of it all. That the most vulnerable are being affected without them actually knowing it and without them being involved to confront it. I further ask, sa mga problema nyo po, ano yung top 10? Ano yung mga pinaka-problema na kailangan yung solusyonan? In his response, plastics was not a part of it. I was still surprised, but also expected. A local fisher folk would be more concerned about the commercial fishing vessels intruding their fishing grounds, about the weather if they will be able to go out the next day to do actually fish to do fishing, the price of the goods in the market, etc., etc. The issue of plastics for many is far from the financial and economic issues they struggle with every day. Remember, in the context of the Philippines, the fisher folks together with the farmers are considered the poorest of the poor. Thus, as called upon by the Sustainable Development Goals, our interventions and solutions should actually be equitable, fair, and just. We need to emphasize that plastics is as well an economic issue as it is ecological. But as long as we do not recognize this, it will be a hard problem to solve. And I think this is where the experiences of China and Parley provides us with some practical approaches on how to implement concrete programs to curb plastics pollution that are grounded, inclusive, and actually just. While certainly there are things that we can learn from the experiences of Maldives, it is not as simple as one island times or multiplied by 7,641 islands in the Philippines. Solutions should be contextualized on the needs of the people. Lastly, Shahina has made this powerful reminder that we need to rekindle and be reconnected with that identity that we and the oceans are one. This strong connectedness allow us to actually listen to the calls of the sea and respond to the calls of the sea. So hopefully Shahina's work was able to remind us that we are not different as peoples, but we are also not disconnected with the oceans. And hopefully after this, we listen more to the calls of the sea. Again, Shahina, congratulations for this and maraming salamat.